Hi, Christine here at the craft table with my weekly update and a quick health update before I get into what I have been crocheting this week. So I had a good week weight loss wise. I lost 2.4 pounds. Yay! And I couldn't tell you how. Seriously, there's no formula this week. I don't know what happened. I took my focus a little bit off the scale. I don't want to be tied to that every morning. I know our weight fluctuates naturally. I use it for accountability because if I go months without getting on the scale, history has shown me that it starts creeping up. So that's the reason I step on it every day. But I would love to get to the point where I only step on it once a week, and hopefully I will. And so there were a few days this week that I did not step on it. And thankfully, Sunday morning's weight was lower. So happy about that. I am now at 206.4, where I've been before, but thankfully back again, and just hope to continue on the right path. And I will say I've spent more time in the Word this week, and I know that strengthens me. I know that helps me to be stronger in the face of temptation, and sometimes the temptations don't even arise during the day when I'm just starting the day where I should and with my mind in the right place. There's a verse that says, set your mind on things above, not on the things of the earth. And it is so healthy to do that. And it's not just food, it's the problems that exist in life in this world, especially problems that I have no control over. There's just no point to be fretting over those things because I have no power over them. And so worrying and fretting is just going to hurt me. And so all that to say, I think that was a good element of this week, definitely, to make me stronger and just keep me on the right track, help me to make good choices. I try to include vegetables as much as I can with my meals. There was one YouTuber who said, lead with vegetables. And I love that, and it kind of stuck in my head. And so I remember that, especially when my plate is looking very monotone and brown and I don't see any green on there. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, go get some vegetables. So I also have been doing a little bit of preparation in advance. I'll cut up whatever I have, like the cucumbers and carrots and celery, so that they are accessible and ready, because when I'm hungry, I just want to go and get something. I don't want to go and prepare and spend an hour in the kitchen cutting and dicing and chopping. So it really helps when I have all that done in advance. And so that's been a good thing this week. And so I think I have incorporated more of those vegetables. Lately, what I do, I buy those mini cucumbers at Sam's Club. I love those. And so I peel them, and I don't peel them completely. I'll peel like every other, I peel them in stripes so that I get a little bit more fiber with that peeling. And the mini cucumbers don't seem to have a very thick peel, so it's easy to eat those. And not like your regular cucumbers. Sometimes the peelings on those is very thick and it's hard to eat. These aren't like that. So anyway, I get mini cucumbers, and then I made carrot sticks out of a bunch of carrots. And what else? Oh, tomatoes. I buy the little, I think they're called Wild Wonders. Usually I get them at Sam's Club, but I bought a couple of boxes that were on sale at Kroger. And so I washed those and I put them in a baggie so they're ready, and the carrots were ready. And then I just make up a bowl, like with whatever I'm eating. I'll also have a bowl of the raw veggies, and I'll just pour a little bit of olive oil in there and a little bit of balsamic vinegar, about equal portions, maybe a little bit less of the vinegar. The balsamic vinegar adds a nice flavor, but it can be a little strong, so sometimes I go light on that. A little bit of salt and pepper, and toss them up, and they're good to go. And I usually eat that last because it kind of turns off the wanting to go back for something else once I eat those vegetables. And so, yeah, I've been doing that. And so good week health-wise. And I actually have not been to the gym in a couple weeks. I think I overdid it and my joints were hurting a lot. So they are now starting to feel better. And I think I will hopefully get back there this week to do my bike riding and just some weightlifting, but not quite as aggressively as I was attacking it before, because I really do think I overdid it. When I work out with a video like on YouTube, I feel better and not worse after those, and I think it's because they put the brakes on, you know, how many and the reps and all that. And if I'm doing it on my own at the gym, I go till I'm spent, and sometimes that's too far. So I think that's the difference. And so I have been doing some of the workout videos on YouTube with one of my favorites, Faithful Workouts. I've mentioned them before. They have a lot of free workouts on YouTube. Chair workouts even. My knee has bothered me a bit, and so I can do a chair workout and still get some exercise in. So it's all good. And yeah, I think that's it on the health front. Oh, I did want to share. I've mentioned this before. We have a morning devotional that my brother sends out every morning, and sometimes they are just so powerful and just right on point. And so I wanted to share this one from a couple days ago. And the verse was Luke. I just had it and I just lost it. The little video talk that went with it was excellent too, but I won't show you that. Again, if you're interested in this daily devotional, it's wonderful with the YouVersion Bible app. But this is Luke 1:37 is the verse for that day, and it said, "For nothing will be impossible with God." And it just speaks to, sometimes I start feeling frustrated because it's been so long that I've been at this goal to get to a healthy weight and have made so little progress in my mind, even though actually if I really think about it, I've made some really good progress in these last few years. But you know, the little Miss Negative in me says, yeah, but you're 60 years old. How many years have you been at this? You know, it just starts tearing me down. And so when I start feeling that futility of it all, and why do I even bother, and all those ugly thoughts, this verse came to me and really said, do not give up. You must keep going on this right path and you will see results. Just don't give up. My problem is I always end up giving up. So anyway, nothing will be impossible with God. And if it's glorifying Him, if it's His will, it's going to happen. But I have to do my part. I have to stay with it. So here's the little written devotional that came with it that I thought was beautiful. Working through the impossible. Throughout the pages of Scripture, God is known for doing extraordinary things, light in the darkness, hope for the broken, and bringing help when it seems there is none. No matter what, God can transform seemingly impossible circumstances for his glory and our good. In Luke chapter 1, Mary's lack of a husband and Elizabeth's old age didn't stop God from bringing Jesus and John the Baptist into the world. And today, nothing, whether it's your past, an ongoing struggle, or a lack of resources, can stop the work of God, the work that God is doing in and through you. So the next time you see an impossible situation in your life, remember that God is a God who works in and through those moments. He wants to talk with you about the things that feel impossible. And the prayer that went with this, again, so appropriate. God, you see my situation and you know that it feels impossible. Give me wisdom in this circumstance and help me take the next step. In Jesus' name, amen. And that day, it wasn't even the weight that was bothering me. I had something else going on in my head, plaguing me, seeming impossible to remedy. And no, it's not. God can work it out, and he will, and I just need to trust him. So I am. And with that, we will transition to the crochet. I worked on some fun things this week. I started a couple new things because I had finished some projects. So let's just dive in. This first project I am actually stalled on because I ran out of yarn. And of course I ran out on Sunday, and Hobby Lobby's 30% discount was last week. So now I have to wait a whole week if I want to save $1. Which I might not wait because I only need one skein of yarn, but we'll see. It's nothing that's on a deadline, so I actually can wait if I want. I am making a couple of outfits for an 18-inch doll. A couple of my nieces have those 18-inch, they're like the American Girl type dolls. I think their version is called My Generation from Target. And so I like to make them outfits and send them. And so this one is, and Pamela at Adoring Doll Clothes has a whole bunch of patterns for 18-inch dolls. I think also 14-inch dolls she does, but I've bought, once she had a deal for all of the patterns that she had online, and I bought that. So I have a nice library of patterns to go to. And I noticed that one of my nieces had dressed up as a doctor for Halloween. And I thought, perfect, I have a doctor outfit. So I will make her that. And so I'm working on the scrubs now. Is that not adorable? There you go. So I have the little pants done. And it's just 4-weight acrylic yarn. So it's nothing. And then this is the shirt that I ran out of yarn on. So I think I have like 10 more rows, but I am totally out. And I am using I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby in the color Peacock for these scrubs. And also, oh, here's the little hat. And I've done the little shoes. That's not cute. I like her patterns because she has you do all the little parts first, and then you get to the big part. So as soon as you're done with the big piece, you've got your whole outfit done, and you're not struggling with getting all those little parts done. And then here's the mask. I just used some Mini Maker from Hobby Lobby, those little skeins they sell with just a couple, maybe 100 yards of acrylic yarn on them in white. So I had that in my scrap bin, and I used that. Oh, here it is. I think I had, I don't know what I did with the, the label. I had it here a minute ago because I knew I was going to do my video. And then I misplaced it. Anyway, it's called Mini Maker acrylic yarn from Hobby Lobby. So that's the first project. So I'm probably about, I don't know, 90% done with that one. And I think it's taken me like 2 days. They are quick. I like that about them too. So that's the, well, actually that's the second outfit. I can't talk today. Actually, that's the second outfit. The first one, which I actually completed, is, do I have a picture? I don't think I took a picture of this one. Oh, here's the label for the Mini Maker. Yarn Bee, white. Sometimes I don't print the picture with the pattern because just to save ink on my printer, and I don't think I did for this one. It's called Jenny Lynn's Jumpsuit, something like that. I'll put it on the screen later. But is that not adorable? So it's this pantsuit, all one piece with a little belt. And it's got this frilly stuff going on at the hem. And I'll put a picture of it on the doll so you can see the whole thing. So she's got a headband with the flower on it to match the pants. And of course, wouldn't be complete without the little shoes. So cute. And for this one, I used Yarn Bee Soft Secret in hot pink. It's just 100% acrylic, and I love this yarn in the color Royal. And then the white Mini Maker. And that little tiny piece of gold was, I think, Karen Simply Soft on the flowers. So yeah, another outfit. And that, again, I did it start to finish this week because they're so fast. And I will be sending those off as soon as I'm finished with both of them. Next, I finished another pair of socks. I think I was almost finished last week. So these are now completely done. This is the Socks for Wider Feet, or Socks for Chubby Feet by Olga Poltava. And I tried to make some modifications on my own and ended up with kind of a wide ankle there. So this part fits me narrow and this part fits me a little loose. But they are totally usable for sleeping in, which is what I use them for. So my issues started with using yarns that I realized much later were two different weights. The multicolor universal yarn easel is an extra fine. What do they call it? Super fine or extra fine? No, I can't find it. Super fine. So even though it said sock yarn, 75% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, it was just a little bit thinner than my Patton's Croy sock. And this one is just fine. So, not super fine, but fine. So it's 166 yards for a 50-gram ball, where this was 437, so 215, 16, 17, 18, 218 yards for 50 grams. So that little bit of difference also played into my differing size as I worked through the sock. And that's why this part came out narrow, and this was where I tried to adjust it. When I did my gauge, I used the regular sock yarn, the fine Patton's Croy socks. And so that was fine, and the cuff's fine. I'm using the word fine too much. It was okay. It's a good fit. But I ran into trouble when I used the same hook for the superfine yarn. Anyway, happy to be done with those. And yes, I will be starting another pair. I'm going to make some Christmas yarn socks. And stay tuned next week for those. I started 2 other things. Yes, I have been starting things like crazy. Is this not super cute? This is a project bag I picked up at a thrift shop. So pretty. I washed it. It even had I don't know what they put in here to make it stiff, but hopefully it's plastic. Anyway, it wasn't removable. It didn't have a pocket or anything, so I washed the whole thing on Gentle, put it in a mesh bag, and then dried it, air dried it forever till I was sure it was dry, and yeah, it came out just fine, and it's so cute. Anyway, I started a blanket. Daisy Farm Crafts does tons of baby blankets, and ever since I saw her gingham blanket, I think the first one I saw was in 2 different grays and white, I just loved it. So I have started a gingham baby blanket, and I'm not very far, but it's a pretty easy stitch pattern. And so I'm only on row 3 here, and you do carry your yarn and you're switching colors every 25 stitches. So I don't think it's going to get boring. I won't be introducing the white till after the first 25 rows. So right now it's just alternating the light and the dark color of this teal or aqua. I love this cotton in the color, the dark color is aspen, and the lighter color is, I think it's just aqua. Sorry, you and the bag are on the same table. The lighter color is aqua. So I love this cotton. Is lovely and soft. It's a wonderful cotton. It's 100% cotton. So I am excited to make a blanket with it. And then white, of course. So these are my 3 colors. And so look for progress on that coming up. That is for a baby that will be arriving in the family, I think the beginning of next year, but we don't know whether it's a boy or a girl. So I thought this aqua was a nice neutral color. The next thing I started, another blanket. Actually, I just started today, so it probably doesn't count for last week, but it's sitting here in front of me, so I'll show it to you anyway. I am making the Bavarian stitch rectangle throw blanket by Crystal at BagODay, and this is as far as I've gotten. This is fun. It really is. They're triple crochets, which I did not realize before I started, which I'm not thrilled with, but I'm going to get a lot of practice with my triple crochet. Anyhow, I'm using the tonal U's that I just received from my Mary Maxim haul. If you didn't see that, that's the video before this one. I purchased 5 skeins of this, and that's 1,400 yards, and you need 1,800 for Crystal's blanket. So I chose this from my stash to alternate with it. I think it'll be pretty. This is called Seven Seas. So to me, this looks like sand. This is the color Linen by Crafter's Secret Big Idea. And they're both 4-weight acrylic. So I think they'll go. And I have 437 yards of this. Plus I think I have a whole other skein, which is another 800 yards. So plenty if I put these two together to get the 1,800 yards. I might even make it a little bigger than hers. I don't have a plan for the blanket yet, but I'm excited to see how this yarn works up. It's wonderful to work with. It is super soft. And yeah, just totally soft. Works up very nicely. And I can already tell that's going to be a cuddly blanket. The washing instructions, though, on this surprised me. I've never seen washing instructions so detailed. Machine washable and dryable. Wash using gentle, delicate cycle for 2 minutes. Tumble dry using low heat for a maximum of 5 minutes. Remove and lay flat to dry. Do not dry clean. Have you ever heard such detailed washing instructions? I mean, that's helpful. They're clearly telling you do not over dry this, and that is good advice for acrylic yarn, because I have some blankets that I have dried till they were past dry, and they do start showing the wear a lot sooner, I think. That said, that reminds me, I've been wanting to share something about Big Twist yarn. So I owe Big Twist an apology, because when I was working, well, half an apology. I said some things about it when I was working this blanket, because it was splitty, it did not have good, I guess I was comparing it to some other yarns I was using at the same time. One being Michael's in-house brand, the Soft Classic, which is a very meaty yarn. I mean, it's got good, it's very bouncy and full. It's a heavier 4-weight. Big Twist at the same time was the skeins that I had, especially in this grape color, were very flimsy and very splitty. I don't know if I just got a bad batch or what. But all that to say, I have been using this blanket. I made this blanket last year with the crochet along with Jada in Stitches. And I'm showing you the back. That's the front. I have been using this blanket for months now. It's going through the washing machine, and it just gets softer and softer. It is so cozy, and nothing is falling apart or losing its shape. It still folds up in pretty much a perfect square, or, you know, the corners still line up. And yeah, it's got some fuzziness to it. You can see, especially the grape. The grape is Big Twist, and the I think this bright green is Big Twist, and the white is definitely Big Twist. So you can see some fuzziness, but this thing has been washed so many times now. I can't tell you how many times. And I am just so happy with it. The squares still look great. And like I said, it's gotten so soft. It's pretty much my favorite blanket right now that's on my bed. And and so, yeah, Big Twist did okay. It's got some longevity. I think I probably will wear it out because I'm using it so much, but I love it. And I make blankets to use them. I don't make them to display them. I want to get good use out of them. And every time I see it on my bed, it makes me smile. It's so pretty. And thank you, Jada and Stitches, again for a wonderful crochet along and these fun squares that we made. Squares that I would never have dreamed up myself, that's for sure. You can see the whole video about this blanket. Well, there were several in my updates earlier this year. Isn't that cool? But yeah, I'm thrilled with this blanket. Okay, that is all I have for this week. And I will talk to you next week. Take care.